Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the boilers, the second part of the first unit of thermal engineering 2 for third year mechanical. Here we are going to see the definition of boiler. What is meant by boiler or definition of boiler? According to ASME, what are the things we are having here? Student, student must be able to write the standard definition here, which is mentioned in the light red color, so that you'll be understanding what is the definition of boiler in exam point of view. Or also you can write the boiler definition of your own as defined in the first line. So here the simple boiler may be defined as closed vessel in which steam is produced from water by the combustion of the fuel. So this is a simple definition of the boiler. Next one, what is the definition of American Society of Mechanical Engineers ASME is? It is boiler is also called as steam generating unit. The main purpose of the boiler is to generate the steam. So we call it steam generating unit is defined as a combination of apparatus for producing, furnishing or recovering heat together with the apparatus for transferring the heat made available to the fluid being heated and vaporized. So these are the points we are having here. The same definition what we are having in the first two lines, it is the same in the ASME definition, but it is a standard technical definition we are having here. Okay. So next one here is we are having steam is generated or employed for the following purposes. So these are the various purposes we are having here. These are the three different purposes we are having. The utility of the steam. So in the next slide, you will be seeing what is the classification of the boilers. So boilers will be classified in different types. The first type will be horizontal, vertical or inclined. Based on the horizontal axis or vertical axis or inclined axis, the boiler is going to be defined, or so it is not defined, it is the classification of boiler. Next one is here, if the axis of the boiler is horizontal, the boiler is called horizontal boiler. If the axis is vertical, it is called vertical boiler, and axis is inclined, is called inclined boiler. That is what we are talking about. And next one is the parts of the horizontal boiler can be inspected and repaired easily, but it occupies more space. So here, what are the drawbacks of the horizontal boiler is mentioned here briefly. And next, the occupies less floor area. Vertical boiler itself indicates that we are having less floor space. So one classification of the boiler is horizontal, vertical, inclined axis. Okay. Next one is, here we are talking about the second one is fire tube boiler and the water tube boiler. What is meant by the fire tube and what is meant by the water tube? So here the definition itself tells, in the fire tube boiler, the hot gases are inside the tubes and the water is surrounding the tubes. That is what we call it as a fire tube boiler. In the water tube boiler, the water is inside the tubes and the hot gases are surrounding the tubes. So this is nothing but the water tube boiler. So here, based on the hot gases present in the tube or surrounding the tube, we call it as fire tube boiler. So in the fire tube boiler, hot gases are inside the tube. So in the water tube boiler itself indicates water is inside the tubes. Okay. So here, what are the examples of the fire tube boiler? Cochrane boiler, Langshed boiler, locomotive boiler. And next one here is the examples for the water tube boiler is Babcock-Wilcox boiler, Stirling boiler, and also the Arrow boiler. So these are the few examples which we have shared in the PPT. Okay. So the next classification is, the third classification is, so in the next slide we will be seeing the third classification, externally fired and internally fired. And the fourth one is forced circulation and the natural circulation. So here we are coming to the third one. What is externally fired? Externally fired is nothing but the boiler is externally fired if the fire is outside the shell. Suppose we are taking the container vessel or the boiler vessel, and also the burning is taking place externally. Then we are calling it as externally fired boiler. In case of internally fired boiler, the furnace is located inside the boiler shell. So that is the example of the Cochrane boiler and the Langshed boiler. Means the burning process will take place inside the boiler. So these are the two differences we are having, externally fired and internally fired. Next one is forced circulation. What is forced circulation means? The circulation of the water is done by the forced pump in the forced circulation. And also in the natural circulation, we are having circulation of water in the boiler takes place due to Natural convection current produced by the application of the heat. Naturally, when the water is flowing into the boiler, this type of boilers we call it as natural circulation. When we are using the pump, then we are calling it as the forced circulation. So the examples are mentioned here. What type of boilers will be water tube, or what type of boilers are externally fired, internally fired. And next one is what is the type of boilers for the forced circulation as well as the natural circulation. Next slide, we'll be seeing the fifth one. Here, what is the classification? So here, very important thing here is high pressure and low pressure boilers. Here we are having high pressure and low pressure boilers. So here, what are called as high pressure boilers and what are called as the low pressure boilers? First one, the boilers which produce steam at pressure of 80 bar and above are called high pressure boilers. The boilers which produce steam at pressure of 80 bar and above are called high pressure boilers. So these are the examples: Wilcox, Velox, Lamont, Benson. So in the syllabus, we are having only high pressure boilers. So means what are the boilers we are having for exam point of view? We can check it out here. The main four are Velox, Lamont, Benson, Babcock, and Wilcox. These four are the important boiler in exam point of view also. In exam, you will be getting at least one of this boiler to draw the neat schematic diagram as well as explain the process in the particular boiler. So these four are very important for us in exam point of view. And next one is when coming to the low pressure boilers, we are having here the boilers which produce steam at pressure below 80 bar are called low pressure boilers. So here you can check it out the examples: Cochrane boiler, Cornish boiler, Lancashire boiler, and locomotive boilers. Okay, next one. Sixth one here is stationary and portable boilers. Here the sixth one is classified as stationary boiler. Stationary itself indicates the boilers will not move or it will be fixed in one place. It is stationary. Portable boiler means we can utilize that one or the mobility of the boilers, including the locomotive types. Here you can see them. We call it as the mobile boilers. Okay. First one is primarily the boilers are classified either stationary or mobile. So stationary it will be mostly on land, and the mobile ones will be in the marine and the locomotive one. Here he has given the classification very clearly. Okay. So in the next one, we're having the types of boilers in the next slide. It is nothing but single tube and multi-tube boilers. The fire tube boilers are classified as single and multiple tubes boiler depending upon whether the fire tube is one or more than one. So here, based on the number of tubes available, based on that also we are going to classify the boilers. So here, once briefly give up the recap, here we can classify the boiler based on 7 different types. So based on the 7 types, we have to classify the boilers. So first one we can have horizontal, vertical, and also based on the pressure. Whatever points you're remembering, you must be understanding it. Stationary boiler or portable boiler, and also high pressure boilers, low pressure boilers, single tube boilers, and multi tube boilers. So these are the various classifications we are having in the boilers. Okay, coming to the next slide. Here, what are the different terms we will be using in the boiler? What are the different terms we are using in the boiler? We are having the shell, setting, grate, furnace, water space, steam space, mountings. So here you will be learning what is meant by mounting and what is meant by accessory. So here mountings are nothing but stop valves, water level gauges, fusible plug, blow off. All this comes under the example of the mountings. Mountings means mounting are the one which is mounted on the boiler for the safety of the boiler. So that is the importance of the mountings. Next one, then we'll be having the boiler term in the next slide. Accessories. Accessories are nothing but to improve the efficiency of the boiler. So that is the meaning of the accessory. Here the various accessories are superheaters, economizers, feed pumps, etc. are termed as accessories. Okay, these are the various accessories we are having to improve the efficiency of the boiler, and the mountings are nothing but the particular equipment or the device mounted on the boiler for the safety of the boiler. So that is the basic difference between the mounting and accessories. Here water level is very important. What are the different terms we are talking about, and also this is also one of the mountings here. Water level is important. Next one is the foaming, formation of steam bubbles on the surface of the boiler water due to high surface tension of the water. So forming of the steam bubbles, we have to you have to control it. Next one is the scale. Due to the impurities present in the water and on the walls of the boiler, we can form the scales. Blowing off means the removal of the mud and other impurities of water from the lowest part of the boiler, and it is termed as blowing off, or we call it as blow off cock. The term accomplished is blow off cock, where removing the mud and impurities of the water from the boiler. Lowest part means at the end of the boiler. Okay, so that is the main point here. So here next term is a lagging, next one is a refractory. Next slide. So in the next slide, you will be understanding how to select a boiler, and next, how can we term it as a good steam boiler? What are the essentials of a good steam boiler? So here, it is like selecting of a boiler means selecting of a good person for your job, and also how to identify it, and also if you want a good faculty or a good student, what are the essential things like that? So similarly, the same way we are going to represent in the boiler also. So here, how to select the boiler? What is the role of the faculty or the student? Here we'll check like that. So here it is the working pressure and the quality of the steam required. So based on what type of selection we have to do, how much working pressure is required, whether it require low pressure boiler or high pressure boiler. Next, quality of the steam. So quality of the steam means in high pressure boilers will get better quality when compared to the low pressure steam. So that's the reason we are getting high pressure boilers for that one. So here it is important is first we have to keep while selecting the boiler is what is the working pressure we want, and also what is the quality of the steam, whether wet or dry or separated. That is what. Next, steam generation rate. So some type of boilers or the low pressure boilers might be producing like 5 kg of steam per second, or at least like 20 kgs of steam per hour, like that they will be mentioning, or we require like 100 kgs of steam per hour. Based on that also we are going to select. Next, floor area available. Then the picture comes, it is horizontal, vertical or inclined, what type of thing we can use, then floor area available for us. Next one is the boiler. So here the main precaution we have to take here is accessibility for repair and inspection. So the boilers is like something like a big building, or the based on the purpose of our requirement in the boiler, we will be having the big buildings like that. So horizontally, vertically, the floor space available is very important. And next one we are discussing is repair and inspection, so that the inside the boiler the person must go and also repair it very easily. That is one more thing. And the initial cost. What is the initial cost we are going to incur while establishing a boiler? So these all are the selection. Sixth one is erection facilities, and the seventh one is fuel and water available, and the eighth one is operating and maintenance costs. Okay, these are the selecting the boiler means selecting the person, good boiler, how to do that one. So that is the next one here. First one is the boiler should produce maximum weight of steam of the required quality at minimum expenses. So at minimum cost we are going to get the better quality as well as the maximum weight of the steam to be produced. Second one is the steam generation rate should be as per the requirement. Suppose the steam generation rate for the boiler is 1 and it is not producing 1, it is producing only 0.5, 0.8. It's of no use. So the good quality boiler means what? It is giving 100% efficiency, like 1, it is promised to give 1, so then it will give 1. Okay. Next one is it should be absolutely reliable. So it does not give like something we are having emergency need and it is going to break down some at the point of time, means it is not so reliable for us. So good steam boiler will be reliable. Suppose I am trusting the student, or suppose I am trusting the faculty, if I am giving some work, that work will be done. Like that the boiler also must complete his part or his or her part of it. So that is the boiler purpose, and it should occupy minimum space, should be light in weight, it should be capable of quick starting, it should be easy access to various parts of the boiler for repair and inspection. So while selecting itself, we will be coming to know, and also the good boiler means all these points we are considering it as good steam boiler. So this is up to one recording video.